Hey everybody! So I got the review for Bates Motel on the computer and started up. So notice I still had time to squeeze in the Fargo review and get it done, which I really need to do. So that's what I'm doing. The show is still so damn brilliant. The humor, the styles, the characters, the acting, everything is so done so damn well, and I completely love it. At the very beginning, for example, they pulled the "This is a true story" again, which is such the Coen Brothers style. Really funny. Just that kind of twisted sense of humor, calling such a macabre story in a way true when it's really not. I really don't know how to describe it. It's dark, but it's funny at the same time. This is going to be a really quick review because I've got to get this done, so it's probably not going to be up to snuff as some of the other ones, but a lot of the humorous moments that I really liked in the show were the sign language with the guy that was deaf. That was pretty funny. I do think it went a little overboard. I think they dragged it on and milked it a little too much, but for the most part it was funny. The thing about how the town didn't have a library was one of the guy's questions, and it has nothing to do with the plot. It has nothing to the story, but it's just so random and out there, and really falls in well with the Coen Brothers style of humor and characters. It's just like, who gives a shit about the library? What's that? The story about how that one guy was killed by a hailstorm when the female cop that's looking at everything and trying to get Lester to talk more. Her friend's talking to her, and she's talking about the cop, whoever was killed by the hailstorm. It's a dark and really sad cop story about how someone was killed in this brutal way by this freak accident. But they play it off as an everyday, run-of-the-mill story, like, that'd be on the same level of, my cat did something crazy today that was really funny, and it's just played off so well in that regard. But, everything they do is so well done. I really like the new two characters that are coming in that are trying to find Billy Bob Thornton's character. And they go through, and one of them is one of the deaf one. They go through a whole series of events, and they eventually get the wrong guy that looks a lot like the description. But it, of course, isn't Billy Bob Thornton. He's too good for that so far. But they've pretty much buried this guy in the ice. And, he's still alive. They don't shoot him in the head at first. I know my costume's messing up a little bit. I just had to get this done really quickly. But, they throw him in the ice. He's at first he's all pissed off. And he keeps coming back from pissed off to begging for his life and saying he's sorry. Well, would be a really sucky way to die, because you would just freeze. It'd be extremely painful with all the cold water biting at your skin, and it's just done so nonchalant. And they just go out there and do it. They're not trying to look around. They're not, fighting with each other like you would see in a lot of other shows or movies. It's just done so nonchalantly, again, like an everyday thing. And this is one of the things the Coen Brothers do, again, very well. The dark, twisted sense of humor, that dark, twisted style is so apparent in this series with everything, and it's really done well. Refrigerator's going, making a loud noise, thought I might have been the phone for a minute. But, anyway, I I really like how the cop that let Billy Bob Thornton's character go is really looking back on it, and he's kind of struggling with the choice he made, because yes, he probably would have been killed if he had pursued the issue. And of course we saw his daughter, and he talks to her about it, and she basically tells him that he doesn't tell her what happened, but it's kind of a scenario, what if scenario, and she basically says that it'd been better to need to pursue it. But he's still really torn between, you know, he's alive now to be with his daughter, but at the same time he didn't do anything, and he feels the guilt bearing on him for that. And I really like how they're developing his character. I really like how he's acting like that out. You can really see the struggle he's going through. I thought that was very well done. And of course they've got to throw the humorous bit in there with a neighbor that is undressing, and he's watching, and he gets caught, and she, opens up, and she's sitting there in a lingerie, and later she's like giving a meal out, and she just looks up at him and stares at him. I'm wondering if they're going to just play that off as it was, or delve into that more, but it's just those sidetracks of random things that they have nothing to do with the plot. If they weren't there, the plot would still go the same, but it's really well done. It's out of place, but doesn't seem out of place. It's not really a distraction away from the rest of the show. In a way it is, but it's not a bad distraction. So it's not like, why did they have that scene in there? That was stupid. They don't need that. Very well done. I think it's really just enough in there to keep the story going, while having those really odd bits and quirks in it. Another thing I really like is how the female cop, I've got to get this girl her name so I can remember it for future reviews, she's really trying to get Lester to talk, and Lester's avoiding it. He's playing off the, I'm a really sad man, I just lost my wife to some random killer, you need to leave me alone. And I like how she's basically the only smart cop in town anymore. The new chief is dumb as shit. Of course, that's the Fargo characters, and the people up there aren't really that dumb. It's just the Coen brothers' sarcastic humor, and over-the-top humor, and exaggerated in a bit, but it's so well done. She's the only smart cop. Her dad's smart too, but he's not a cop. The one that owns the diner or whatever. I think it's led to believe that it's her dad from what I can see, but the chief is willing to lay off Lester. He has nothing to do with it. And then everybody sees Lester as this sweet, innocent, quiet guy that can never do anyone harm. Even though, he was the one that obviously killed her. We saw that. And I do think he's going to get caught in the end, but I really like that. I like how the contrast between the characters, and how that she's going to continue to pursue him if she can, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night. But Billy Bob Thornton, no, let's go back to Lester for a minute and Martin Freeman. I really like how he's doing his struggle. In a way he does, I think it's that he does miss her. He does admit he doesn't like in a way that she's gone, but at the same time he doesn't want to get caught, and he's glad she's gone in a way. And that's another character dilemma. The characters are written really well in any of the Coen Brothers stories, even the movies that aren't quite as good. But I like how they're doing that. And Billy Bob Thornton's character is hilarious. He's so damn awkward and offbeat, and so disturbing that he's great. The whole scene of the post office where he was like, get the package. Yeah, you can. And, the guy was like, no, I can't. And, he eventually convinced him to do it because he had such a weird, threatening presence that the post office guy just went ahead and got it. And he opens the package, starts to open the package, and the post office like, no. And he kind of stops and backs off. That scene was brilliant. I just love the quirky, weird, character that Billy Bob is pulling off. I really hope he wins something for this. I hope Martin Freeman does too, but really great. And then he opens the package, and there's some kind of book and a new ID, and he's just apparently a minister, which is his new cover-up story. And so he goes to meet the new client, which is what we heard about in the last episode, and it's the where the the supermarket guy is he says he's being blackmailed for money, and there's the security guy, which later comes into Billy Bob Thornton character's his home, or not his home, but his apartment, and he's trying to threaten Billy Bob, this character, and it doesn't work because Billy Bob just he just does not give a shit. He's impossible to threaten. He's impossible to shake. He just opens the magazine, takes down his pants, and sits there on the toilet. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He didn't say that because the English language can't get that bad. But what the hell are you doing? What's wrong with you? He storms out. That guy is definitely going to get killed. But it's just that I'm really enjoying Billy Bob. I love Martin Freeman. I love him in other stuff. Great as John Watson, amazing as Bilbo, amazing as Lester, but Billy Bob's really stealing the show a little bit more so far. But that was really good. The weird characters. The one that has all the bronze on him. He's personally training the supermarket king guy. Is his wife. He's training her, and there's definitely something going on between those two. They're having an affair, and of course, Billy Bob later figures out he has the note, and he finds a bronze on it, which is going to lead to more in this next episode. But I'm sorry for the short review. I'm sorry for everything being really quick. Next week, I hope to get back into the swing of things and not postpone and forget stuff. But I need to wrap this up because everything's about to come on in a few minutes. But still a brilliant show. I love it. Really is keeping in style with Fargo and the Coen brothers. Of course, they did it. But amazing so far. I love it. So until next time, which should be a lot better. Peace out.